Cheerful greetings, children. I hope you are extremely happy staying at home. Today, we'll start our English session for class 6. We'll start with chapter 2. It is a poem. The name of the poem is A Little Grain of Gold. A Little Grain of Gold. Before introducing the poets, let me give you some clues. You just think over whether you can identify the person. Just think over whether you can identify the person. Children, he is a famous personality. He is a famous personality. He is well known among others for his songs. He is well known among others for a special poem. And his poem, we sing it during our national anthem. His poem, we sing it during our national anthem. Now, can you guess the person? Yes, he is Mr. Rabindranath Tagore. The poem, A Little Grain of Gold, is written by Rabindranath Tagore. The poem, Little Grain of Gold, is written by Rabindranath Tagore. Now let me say something about the poet. He was born on 7th May 1861 and lived up to 1941. He is known as Rabindranath Tagore in Indian language. He is known as Rabindranath Tagore in Indian language. He was the first Indian to win Nobel Prize. He was the first Indian to win Nobel Prize. He found the world famous education center Shantiniketan. He composed a national anthem Jana Gana Mana. His Nobel Prize winning compilation Gitanjali is a collection of songs celebrating the glory of God. Gitanjali is a collection of songs celebrating the glory of God. Now, let me say you something about the poem. The poem, A Little Grain of Gold. The poem, A Little Grain of Gold, is written by Rabindranath Tagore. And this poem is taken from Gitanjali, song number 50. This poem is taken from Gitanjali, song number 50. It sounds simple but conveys a valuable message. It highlights the virtue of giving. It highlights the virtue of giving instead of receiving. The poem effectively conveys the point. Giving should come before receiving. We should have the attitude of giving instead of receiving. There is a popular saying, God gives and forgives. Man gets and forgets. It's all about the giving nature of God and the forgetting nature of man. Giving nature of God and the forgetting nature of man. Now, let me move on to the poem. A Little Grain of Gold. I had gone a-begging from toad to toad in the village paths, when thy golden chariot appeared in the distance like a gorgeous dream. And I wondered, who was this king of all kings? I wondered, who was this king of all kings? My hopes rose high, and methought my evil days were at an end. My hopes rose high, and methought my evil days were at an end. And I stood waiting for alms to be given unasked, and for wealth scattered on all sides in the dust. The chariot stopped where I stood. Thy glance fell on me, and thou camest down with a smile. I felt that the luck of my life had come at last. I felt that the luck of my life had come at last. Then of a sudden, thou didst hold out thy right hand and say, What hast thou to give to me? What hast thou to give to me? Ha! What What a kingly jest was to open thy palm to a beggar to beg. I was confused and stood undecided, and then from my wallet I slowly took out the least little grain of corn and gave it to thee, But how great my surprise when at the day's end I emptied my bag on the floor to find a least little grain of gold among the poor heap. I bitterly wept and wished that I had the heart to give thee my all. I had the heart to give thee my all. Written by Rabindranath Tagore. Now let me move on to the poem. I had gone begging from door to door in the village path. Here I is the speaker. Who is the speaker? The poet himself is the speaker. Here the poet himself disguising like a beggar, and he started to beg from one door to the other. That means in his village, from one house to the other house, he just started to beg. When thy golden chariot appeared in the distance like a gorgeous dream. So when he started to beg, he could see a golden chariot just appearing from far away. Chariot is an open vehicle with two wheels. An open vehicle with two wheels pulled by horses. And he is just watching a golden chariot is just coming from far away. And all that was like a gorgeous dream. It was beautiful and attractive dream to him. I wondered, who was this king of all kings? I here again is the speaker, the one who is a beggar. So here the beggar is again exclaimed or wondered, who is this king of all kings? Who may be this one may be the king of all kings. My hopes rose high, and methought my evil days were at an end, and I stood waiting for alms to be given unasked, and for wealth scattered on all sides in the dust. Here the beggar, that is the speaker, had a great hope or a great wish that all his wishes became high. Methought my evil days were at an end. Me is again the beggar. The beggar is thinking that all his bad days had come to an end. All his bad days had come to an end. And I stood waiting for alms. Again, I is referred to as the beggar. The beggar is waiting for some alms to be given by the king. Alms mean money, food or clothes that are given to people. Money, food or clothes that are given to poor people. So here the beggar is thinking that he may be given some alms without even asking. To be given unasked, without asking. And for wealth scattered on all sides in the dust. It's all his imagination. Without asking, alms will be given, and here wealth refers to money. Money will be spread throughout the ground to all sides. That also without asking. So all his imagination here becomes very high. Here let me explain you once more. The speaker is begging from door to door. That means he started begging from one house to the other house in his village. At that particular time, the beggar is seeing a golden chariot just coming from far away. So he is thinking that it's a beautiful dream. He is not able to accept the things, and he is wondering, that person, the one who is coming in the chariot, may be the king of all kings, and he simply rose all his wishes very high. and the beggar thought that all his evil days had come to an end, and he is simply waiting for some alms to be given without asking. And also he has got imagination that the money or the wealth that is given by the king will be spread throughout the ground, and he can be very happy in his lifetime. Chapter 2, A Little Grain of Gold, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Now we can learn new words and their meanings. First one, chariots, an open vehicle with two wheels. An open vehicle with two wheels pulled by horses. Second one, distance, length of the space between 2 points. Next one, gorgeous, means beautiful and attractive. Next one, king of kings, above all other kings. King of kings, above all other kings. Next one, alms. Alms mean money, clothes and food that are given to poor people. Money, clothes,